Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Energy Quick Chat where we rub minds with stakeholders and players in the energy markets. Now, Tanzania is at a critical crossroads, striving to balance the imperatives of growth with the pressing need to address energy poverty. Despite being among the fastest growing economies in the region, approximately 43% of Tanzanians have access to electricity. That's just 43%. And that's according to latest report on Tanzania's renewable energy landscape by Rwandan-based consulting firm, Terra Energy. To help me unpack this new report, I am joined by Mohamed Alhaj, founder and managing director at Terra Energy. Thank you for coming on the show, Mohamed. Now, I just want us to dive right in. Tell me more about Terra Energy, particularly regarding your focus on Africa's energy sector.
Thank you, Justina, for this kind invitation. Terra Energy is a youth-led management consulting firm specializing in renewable energy and the energy transition. We're established in Rwanda, and the firm focuses on addressing the development challenges that Africa faces, primarily when it comes to energy access and also the climate resiliency challenge. So we provide a range of technical advisory services and management consulting services on energy transition strategy, renewable energy policy, electric mobility, business model innovation, entrepreneurship, and even youth and capacity building programs. We focus primarily on sub-Saharan Africa, and we think that the challenge of the energy access and also the climate change challenge that sub-Saharan Africa faces are immense and are also closely interlinked. That's why a lot of the work that we do and that we have done previously with a number of development agencies, philanthropies, donors, focused on how we could create roadmaps for the sustainable energy transition in Africa while ensuring that we are well prepared and resilient in front of the challenges that climate change poses.
Right. Thank you for that. And so what are some of the key findings from this report on Tanzania's current renewable energy landscape?
So Tanzania is a very interesting market, and I think it's one of the most important markets in East Africa, being one of the largest economies, having a large population, but at the same time facing immense challenges when it comes to renewable energy, when it comes to energy in general. As you noted in the introduction, only 43% of Tanzanians have access to electricity, and this, of course, will hinder development significantly. In addition to that, in rural Tanzania, as an example, the United Nations climate change, they estimate that approximately 70% of rural population in Tanzania need to travel around 2 kilometers every day just to charge their phones and spend between 10 to 25% of their income on kerosene lighting. So these are some really immense challenges that require an integrated approach on how we tackle the energy access challenge. In the report as well, we wanted to get a good understanding of the electricity sector and the renewable energy sector in general. So currently, the installed capacity, for example, for electricity in Tanzania is around 1.7 gigawatt. And the government has the ambition to increase this capacity significantly over the next decade. Looking at renewable energy capacity, for instance, at the moment, there has been a marginal increase, unfortunately, in renewable energy capacity in Tanzania from 2013 to 2022. Currently, it's around 677 megawatt, and that's primarily from hydropower. So non-hydropower like solar and wind still have a very small contribution in the energy mix in Tanzania.
Right. So what specific aspects make Tanzania an attractive market? I noticed that you pointed out a few things about Tanzania being an attractive market for renewable energy investors. So can you point out these aspects for me?
Yes, Justina. Now there are a number of factors really. And so Tanzania in general is an emerging market, absolutely. It's a market that has a lot of potential from so many different perspectives, starting with first having very good renewable energy resources, solar, wind, geothermal, and others. Even the ranking of Tanzania in global benchmarking reports is actually impressive. So, for example, the Bloomberg New Energy Finance Climate Scope ranks Tanzania among the top 10 countries in Africa for renewable energy investments. Other factors as well that make it an attractive market is the presence of a good regulatory framework for mini grids So there's a regulatory framework developed by the regulatory authority in Tanzania that regulates how mini grids are classified, power purchase agreements, and so on. There's also a very good momentum in the market for mini grid installations. Approximately or over 100 mini grids have been currently installed in different parts of the country, serving more than 180,000 customers. And in addition to that, there's also a lot of interest in investing in Tanzania by international developers. Just last year in May, the government signed an agreement to build the first large-scale solar project in Tanzania with a Chinese consortium, and the capacity of that project will be around 50 megawatt, and later on to be extended to reach 150 megawatt. So these are all very promising signs. And in addition to them, when you look also at the international financial flows in the renewable sector in Tanzania, we note that they have increased from 27 million US dollars in 2017, reaching to over 320 million US dollars by 2021, which presents around 8% of the total financial flows in renewable energy in sub-Saharan Africa.
Now, when we're talking about the whole energy mix agenda, beyond hydropower, which was also emphasized in that report, what is the potential for solar, wind, and other non-hydro sources in Tanzania's energy mix?
No, the potential for these technologies is actually quite high. So if you look at solar as an example, whether it's solar photovoltaic or solar thermal, there's a very high potential, mainly because we have high levels of global horizontal radiation in most part of Tanzania that exceed 2,000 kilowatt hours per meter square per year. So this shows that solar projects of all sizes have very high technical feasibility. Wind as well has also very high potential, especially in the central parts of Tanzania, where you have wind speeds that exceed 8 meters per second. So that's generally a benchmark or an indication of good technical feasibility. And in fact, currently, Tanzania had its first wind energy project that became operational just a few months ago, approximately 2.4 megawatt. We think that these probably are the two most dominant technologies and the ones that have the highest technical potential right now.
Right. Are there key trends that Tanzania can leverage within the East African power pool for sharing renewable energy resources in order to harness regional competitiveness?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, Justina. And I think that in sub-Saharan Africa as a whole, we really need to adopt this mindset of thinking of how we can work in a collaborative way, how we could integrate our power systems. And power pools is definitely one of the most important ways of doing so. So as you noted, Tanzania is part of the East Africa Power Pool, which includes currently 13 countries. The power pool, and right now Tanzania is utilizing it at a very minimal state, at a very minimal level, with only around 700 or around 70 megawatt. In terms of the size of the connection between Tanzania and Uganda, that's the interconnection that's currently operational and has been operational for several years. But there are other interconnections as well that Tanzania has with other countries, right? Like Zambia, for example, Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique, and even Rwanda. And combined, if you look at all these interconnections, if they reach their full technical capacity, the East Africa Power Pool Authority, they estimate that it could reach up to 7,500 megawatt, which is, of course, a very sizable amount. And that has a lot of advantages, not just for Tanzania, but also for its neighboring countries in terms of enhanced grid stability, in terms of reducing the need to curtail generation from large-scale solar projects in the future, and lots of other, of course, economic benefits, resource sharing. So it's something that I think it needs a lot of work. At the moment, most of these interconnections that Tanzania has with its neighboring countries are still either under construction or still under feasibility stage, with a number of them expected to be operational within from 2026 onwards.
Right. That's fantastic. When we look at the overall outlook of Tanzania's renewable energy market, based on your report findings, what are your outlook for the growth of this market in the coming years? And I would also like you to touch on both Tanzania and the East African region as well.
Yeah, so I think in general, we think there's a very positive outlook for growth. And, we always like to be optimistic, but the numbers actually indicate this when you look at the investments flowing, you look at the regulatory framework, when you look at the interest by international companies, it's clearly showing that there is a positive momentum and a positive outlook for development in the renewables market in Tanzania. Even though, of course, there has been challenges, and this is one thing we highlighted in our report, mainly challenges relating to the implementation of regulations, technical capacity, grid infrastructure. But of course, by adopting an integrated approach towards the energy plan that the government has in place, in addition to leveraging international partnerships, we believe that Tanzania will be on a trajectory for achieving its electrification goals by 2033, and also fully utilizing its renewable energy potential to support the country's economic development. At the regional level as well, there's also a number of very, very positive indications, because the East Africa region, when you look at countries like Kenya, which is a very, very progressive market when it comes to off-grid renewable energy systems. Ethiopia, for example, also has a very vibrant market when it comes to solar home systems and other kinds of small-scale renewable energy technologies. Rwanda as well, Uganda. Most of these countries have taken, I think, a number of positive steps in terms of regulatory reforms, in terms of attracting investments. So we're very optimistic about the market outlook.
Right. Mohamed Alhaj, founder and manager, thank you so much for sharing those insights about Tanzania's energy landscape. And that's it on our Energy Quick Chat. Thank you everyone for taking time to watch. Make sure to comment, like and subscribe to see more videos like this, and follow Frontier Africa Reports across all our social media handles. I am Justina Okechukwu. Bye for now.